Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you for joining me. I'm great. Congratulations on this latest movie of yours, Depravity. I thought it was great.
Thank you. Thanks for watching it.
Oh, of course. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just jump right into it. I'm sure you're busy and it's very exciting that it's now been released. And I was curious for you. I know you've done all sorts of genres, this one included. But getting ready to play this particular type of character in this twisty, suspense thriller. I was curious
Mhm.
what your process is because there are a lot of twists and turns and your character, she's kind of treading a fine line between, like there's some villainous stuff and then but you're rooting for her and there's just a lot going on. So I was curious what it was like for you sinking your teeth into this one in particular.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what attracted me to the script and the character in the first place is that there were so many twists and turns. And I think Paul Tamassi, who's also our writer and also director, is such a talented writer and I think is really great at just really fleshing out who a character is and creating interesting characters in an interesting world that you want to be a part of. And as far as like what it took to kind of bring Grace to life, I mean, yeah, you're right. There are quite a few layers to her. She kind of starts off one way and her world totally gets flipped upside down and is then thrust into this world of greed and murder and chaos. So I think for me, it was just about, every time I'm playing a character, I'm obviously have to be incredibly familiar with the script. I'm breaking down, I'm writing my character's backstory. I'm breaking down each scene. And Grace was so fun to play because, she's a smart woman, but she also has this very kind of like reckless, thrill seeking side to her. Um, which was fun to bring to life. So and there's also like a lot of really, I mean, intense emotional scenes. And luckily when we got to Thailand, Paul, who's such like an actor's director, was very adamant that we were going to have a few days at least of rehearsal time just for all of us to get comfortable and feel everything out together on set and whatnot. So I think that those days were really valuable. But other than that, it was just kind of like, we were in Thailand and just throwing myself into it.
Had you shot in Thailand before?
I had never shot in Thailand. No, I think that was one of the things that really excited me about the projects. I always love when I can go to some exotic new place when I'm filming a movie because
Yeah.
it just kind of like takes me out of my normal world and I feel like I really get to live in this new world and also it's just really fun to explore a new place for a couple months. And Bangkok was amazing. Like the people are genuinely so sweet and so kind over there and the food was amazing and it was just like such a culture shock, something like so different than I had ever experienced, but so beautiful. We did like fun touristy things on the weekend, and it was just a really, really special, fun bonding experience for everyone, I think. And the Thai people were truly like incredible.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, my sister lived there. I've never been, so I'm jealous. I'd love to go
Oh my
sometime.
gosh. Oh my gosh, you have to go. You'll
Yeah.
never have better mango sticky rice in your life. You cannot find a bad mango in Thailand. It's insane. It's just like all the fruit is so it's just incredible. I loved it.
Well, that's great. I love mangoes, so I clearly I haven't seen nothing
Same.
yet. So.
Yeah, you really have it.
That's great.
Yeah.
And did Paul director, did he for Grace in particular or just for the project in general, did he give you any sort of homework assignments after sinking your teeth into the script? Was he like, "Oh, you should watch this show or this movie or read this
Yes.
book or read about this true crime series or story?"
Yes. No, he did give me a couple movies to watch. One of them, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the name of it now. It's about these three friends who similarly, and there's like a murder, and then there's a lot of greed. Oh, it's with Andrew McCarthy, I believe. I'm forgetting
Oh,
the name of it. Oh, what is it? This is gonna
I'm
bother
pretty
me.
sure I've seen it too, which is too bad.
God, who was the director? Was it the same guy that did Train Spotting? What is his name?
Oh, Danny Boyle.
I think it's a Danny Boyle film. I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
Oh, what is the name of this movie? Are you Googling it?
Is it not Straight from the Heart? Is it?
No.
No.
Wait, hold on. I need to find this. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Well, no, I should know these two. I mean,
Well, hold on. I can find it. Shallow Grave.
oh yeah, of
I think
course. Shelley. Yeah.
Shallow
I've not
Grave.
seen it, but I should, of course. So yeah, you watched that in
Yeah.
preparation for Grace and the movie in general. Anything else did he tell you to read about or watch just in general?
I'm trying to think. There was that movie and a couple other movies that I'm blanking on right now, to be honest. It's been a minute, but
It's all good.
yeah, I don't know. I think that's really that's kind of really all he gave me. And I mean, like we were in contact a lot though. So we would just kind of like talk over things. And, I do have my first ever sex scene in this movie. So I think that I was very anxious about that and nervous about how that was going to be shot and how that was going to go down. And I had a lot of trepidation attaching myself to this because of that one scene. And Paul knew that. And he was very understanding and also he just made me feel very safe, very protected. He was like, we're not going to do anything that you're, not comfortable with. And I'm going to show you it in the edit after. If you hate it, like we can change something. And I was like, okay, this makes me feel better. So I felt like I was in really good hands and I was, and I'm really, really happy with the way it all turned out.
Well, it's great. I mean, yeah, that's always nice to hear. I know there are like, intimacy coordinators and all that on sets, and it seems like it's really evolved. So I'm glad he made
Yeah.
it a save. So that's
Yeah. It
great.
was great.
And you're working with Dermot. I grew up watching his movies. Those throwback rom-coms. So I was curious. I mean, no
Yeah.
spoilers, of course, but for a big chunk of the movie, Grace is sort of viewing him as one type of villainous person. So for you behind the scenes, I was curious what that was like for you trying to put yourself in that mindset of like looking at Dermot in particular, whether you've seen his like rom-com stuff in a
Yeah.
different genre or not, if that was a challenge trying to see him in that kind of light.
Yeah. I think, well, Paul he had him buzz off his hair for the
Right,
role,
right, right.
which I think was really helpful in kind of creating that, more sinister look. But I think that Dermot he's such a great actor and he only says one word in the entire film, but
Oh
like
yeah.
his looks are so intense and his face has like so much character and there's so much going on behind his eyes that he really doesn't have to do too much to kind of like freak you out a little bit. So I really think he embodied the role so well. But I mean, also I remember, I'm a huge rom-com fan. One of my best friend's wedding is one of my favorite romantic
Of
comedies of all
course. Yeah.
time. It's just incredible. It's a classic. And so I was like a little like fangirly when I met him for the first time because it's Dermot Mulroney. Like he's like an iconic actor. And he was so sweet though, honestly. And throughout the entire process of filming, he just couldn't have been nicer and um just sweeter to me. He was just incredibly supportive. Like when you're on set with him, he's clearly such a veteran. Like the man knows what he's doing. He always made me, in a really intense kind of most intense scenes, he was always checking on me and making sure I was okay and that everything was good. And so I really appreciated that. It felt like he was always kind of like looking out for me. And although he was very, dark and intense on screen, off screen, he was very much like willing to have a conversation about anything and just joke around and have a few laughs. And so I really enjoyed my time with him a lot.
Well, that's great. That's nice to hear. Yeah, my
Yeah.
best friend's wedding is one of my wife's favorites. So yeah,
So good. It's
yeah,
so good.
she'd
They're
be the
all,
same way, fangirling and all that. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's great. That's great. And I also wanted to ask, yeah, I would love to hear if about what your experience was like playing Janet in the Rocky Horror Picture Show TV event, because that's such
Gosh.
an iconic project. Would love to
It
hear more
was,
about it.
yeah. I mean, I saw the Rocky Horror Picture Show for the first time when I was in fifth grade. And
Yeah.
I just remember being like, it's like my like edgy alternative friend who showed me. And like, I was like, whoa, like this is the weirdest, coolest thing ever. Like I'd never seen anything like it. And I loved it. And it always kind of just stuck with me. And I went to like my first like live showing of it or whatever, where the audience is throwing
Oh yeah.
toilet paper and like, they put like the V on your head for a virgin with red lipstick. When I was, I think like 15 or 16, I did that with a group of friends. So I had loved it for a while. And when I found out that they were doing a remake, I called my agents and I was like, you need to get me in the room. Like, I will take any part. I need to be a part of this. And then I ended up auditioning for Janet, and Kenny Ortega was so wonderful. And went through all the steps, did the screen test, was very sick at my screen test, but I remember I was like throwing up the morning of, but I was like, I have to get there. I got to make it to the screen test. Like, I
Oh
need this
gosh.
part. And yeah, it ended up working out. We filmed in Toronto with Kenny and Laverne and the entire cast. Everyone was genuinely just like so insanely talented. And it was so much fun to get to bring Janet to life again. It was the best time ever.
That's great. Yeah, I still listen, I have the soundtrack saved on my Spotify. I mean, those songs are, just endlessly catchy. So, I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, getting to recreate Touch Me was just like a pinch me iconic moment. And also with Lou Adler, who's such an
oh yeah.
iconic producer, he had done like Carole King's Tapestry, and like I'm at his incredible home in Malibu, like with his son, like re-recording these iconic songs with everyone. I was like, what is my life right now? This is the coolest thing I've ever done. It was really nuts.
That's great. I'm jealous. Yeah, that's wonderful. I also wanted to ask, in general, you've been acting for so long, started at such a young age, and I was curious if you, maybe stay in touch with any of your Nickelodeon co-stars or just, anyone you started, performing alongside at a young age.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like I definitely stay in touch with people. I think it's hard, people grow apart, and life goes on and everyone grows up, and people are married and have kids and move to different states, and things get so crazy. But I think, I have two active group chats with both of the shows that I was on, Zoe and Victorious, and it's always nice when like those, fire up again and we're all kind of like, gabbing in there. It's super fun.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think I definitely have a special place in my heart for all my co-stars, and
of
whenever
course.
I get to do that, it's always really, really, really fun.
Of course, yeah, makes sense. I also, it's 'tis the season. I have to ask, might be a tough question, but I would love to hear what your favorite scary movie is and what makes it your favorite scary movie, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite scary movie. Well, I mean, I saw this movie for the first time when I was 8. And to be honest, I don't think that my parents were divorced, and my father showed it to me, and my mom was really upset about it. But I saw The Exorcist for the first time when I was like 8. And that movie is terrifying. Even to this day, I think it still holds up. It's so well done. Um, so that will always be one of my favorites. Also Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
I love that film.
yeah. But
Um,
those and yeah, I
Hereditary,
mean,
great
yeah,
film.
yeah, yeah. It's like, I mean, is there? Yeah, those are. Yeah, those are two of my favorites too. I mean, I remember my mom let me rent The Exorcist, and she was just very not happy about it.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie too. I mean, do you just, I mean, with The Exorcist in particular, do you just, I mean, is there just the pop out scary stuff I mean, it's a good movie in general too. So,
It is a good movie. I think like just when you're young, the idea of like potentially being possessed and like that happening via a Ouija board, and
yeah,
it's terrifying. Like, and it all, they did such a good job. It seemed so real, and just incredible acting all around. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the stuff that really like gets in my head sometimes, is like the spiritual kind of demonic stuff really freaks
of
me out.
course. Yeah, me too. I forgot about
Yeah.
the Ouija board moment in the movie. And yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff always gets to me. Yeah,
It's so creepy. It's just,
yeah.
yeah.
For sure. And also, I wanted to ask, I spoke to Brian Greenberg earlier this year, and I would love to, with Suits LA coming out, I was curious if there's anything you could share about the show, and if you were a fan of the original before. I know it like regained popularity once it dropped on Netflix, but I was curious.
Yeah.
So how has it been on Suits LA, and yeah, if maybe you were one of the OG fans of the original.
I can't say I was one of the OG fans. They had asked me to do it and I had never seen it. So I, watched the first episode on Netflix. And I thought it was great. I thought it like was really fast paced. It was entertaining. It kept me engaged. And obviously the show has such a rabid fan base now, which is incredible. So I was happy to just like jump on and be a little part. I play an actress, like an action star kind of girl named Dylan Stoddard. And yeah, it's just a little like pop in moment, but who knows? I might be coming back for the rest of the season. So yeah, but honestly, everyone was very welcoming, and Brian was so lovely to work with, like just could not have been sweeter. And I think the cast just really has great chemistry, and I think the sets were amazing. Like I think people are going to be really excited and love the new show.
Well, great. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I was a fan of the original and yeah. And in the meantime, though, congratulations on Depravity. Thought it was great, and it's
Thank
great to
you.
see you keeping busy with all this stuff.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So great. Yeah, that's I hope we can do this again on the next one. And thanks for taking the time to chat with me.
I hope so too. Thank you so much.